Vayichan sham Yisrael neged ha'ar kulanu ke'echad.
Okay, L'koved Matan Torah. We'll discuss something very, very important as a Yesod in Atzloch of Limud HaTorah. And that is one of the most frustrating things about people who are learning Torah. The idea is that we have something which is very, very natural, and that is called Hilchos HaTorah, which means it's shaykh that we can learn and learn and learn. But then at the end of the day, after a couple of days go by, we find that somehow we have a problem or trouble in order to be able to retain that which we learn. In Avodah, there's no question that any Talmud, whether he's a bocher, whether he's already an elderly person, the greatest part of his atzloch and learning would be, his she'ifa is to have the schus to remember and to retain, to be able to absorb that which he is learning. And yet shikha is something which is very natural, and therefore we'd like to offer maybe something very possible, or something, a great thing that a person is able to apply, that we find from one of the great Gedolei Yisrael, which would be an eitzah in order to be able to be more matzliach in remembering. Is gula keneged Hilchos HaTorah. Then it says, we know that the first Masechta in Torah Shebal Peh is called Masechtas Birchas. And the Tzlach, the Rabbi Yehuda, at the end of Masechtas Birchas, he raises the following question. The Tzlach asks, why is it that Masechtas Birchas is referred to as Masechtas Birchas? We know very well that the beginning of the Masechta, Khal, does not talk about Hilchos Birchas. The Masechta talks about the halachas of Kriya Shema. Mei Misai Koyin is Shema B'Yarvin. So the Masechta talks about the halachas of Kriya Shema. And afterwards, what comes next, we have Parakim that deal with the halachas of Tefillah. It is not until the 6th Perek, which is Kesed Mevarchim, that finally we discuss Hilchos Birchas. And the question is, being that the union of Birchas is so far delayed toward the middle of the Masechta, then why is it that Masechtas Birchas is being referred to as Masechtas Birchas? It would seem more appropriate as the Slach that we should call it either Masechtas Kriya Shema, maybe called Masechtas Tefillah. We know but there are Khal that a Masechta is referred to by the opening lines of a Masechta. Take, for example, Masechtas Be'er. Beitza Shenolda B'Yontif. Roy Masechta is not talking about a Beitza at all. As a matter of fact, it's only the first line. And being that the first line begins with Beitza Shenolda B'Yontif, we call it Masechtas Beitza. And the other question is, so why? If you don't call it Masechtas Kriya Shema, call it Masechtas Tefillah. But why is it that B'chlal we're ignoring the opening Parakim of the Masechta, and the Masechta is being Nikva, the name of the Masechta, established, calling it Masechta Birchas. Why is it called Masechta Birchas? The Tzlach says something, a murderous thing. The Tzlach is that says toward the end of the Masechta, says, I want to tell you, I want to be Mediyah you, says the Tzlach, that I have a Gevaldig Zgula. He calls it a Zgula Nifla. I have a Zgula Nifla for Zechiras HaTorah. Recognize, Rabbi Isai, we're talking about one of the Gedolei Yisrael of all time. Till to this day, we study all of his Torah, where the seforim al Shas, whether it's the Jewish Rabbi Yehuda and Aloche, which is the Reish Varishan. And the Stach tells us that I have a Zgula Nifla, and that's Dam Zgula. Stach says I have a Zgula Nifla, it's a Gevaldig Zgula. I have a Moerig Zgula Lizikarin in order to be able to remember what a person learns for Zechiras HaTorah, and that is to say Birchas HaTorah B'Kavona. In the morning when a person gets up, he starts to say the Birchas HaShachar, and he begins with Birchas HaTorah. So the Stach, Birchas HaTorah, the Amira of Birchas HaTorah is a Gevaldig Zgula. It's noteworthy that the Stach does not mince any words. The Stach is not satisfied simply to say, I'm going to give you a Zgula. But Stach says it's a Zgula Nifloi. It's a Gevaldig Zgula. Which means it's a tremendous Zgula Keneged Hilchos HaTorah. And we'd like to explain and bring forth this Gevaldig Zgula that the Stach offers us which will serve as a zgula to remember what we learn. It is a zgula keneged Hilchos HaTorah. We should not forget that which we learn. The Star brings down and explains what is the koyach of Birchas HaTorah. Where do I get it from? Where do I get it from, says the Slach, that Birchas HaTorah is a zgula for Hilchos HaTorah. It's a zgula to remember what we learn. The Ferish Gemara Mesechtes Avodas Hashem Daf Yud Tes. The Gemara brings down, the Gemara says, Ravi Rome, we have a stira. Everybody's familiar with the first pasuk in Tehillim. Ashro Yish Asher Laholach Batzas Rishoyim. Fortunate is the man who does not walk, right, with the council of Rishoyim, is not sit among Rishoyim, and accept their advice and their eitzes. Ashro Yish Asher Laholach Batzas Rishoyim. Ubederech hatoim lo yomad v'moisav leisim lo yoshav. He's not part of a group of moishav leisim. What is he? Ki b'toras Hashem cheftzoi. This person is asher wish. What he wants, his desire is toras Hashem. So Rav asks a stira. The pasuk begins and says Ki b'toras Hashem cheftzoi, which means that the Torah that a person learns is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. It's called toras Hashem. And then mamish immediately, immediately the pasuk switches. In his Torah, right? He studies day and night. So Rav asks B'monavshich, whose Torah is it? The Torah that a person learns, whose Torah? Is he learning Torah Hashem? Or is he learning his own Torah? Seems to be a clear contradiction to Psukim, where the pasuk begins, Ki b'toras Hashem cheftzoi, and then later on it says, so the Gemara answers, the Gemara says, Kan b'tchila, kan l'b'soif. Mashmos of Rashi is, what is the teretz of the Gemara? The Gemara says, Kan b'tchila. B'tchila means before a person learns, it's not his Torah. Kan b'tchila. Before you learn it, it's not your Torah, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. But kan l'b'soif. But l'b'soif means when a person already learned it, then it's his Torah. The Torah that a person learned, so that Torah that he continues to learn, that is his Torah. Kan b'tchila. The pasuk that says, Ki b'toras Hashem cheftzoi, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah, that b'tchila means the beginning, before you learned. By the way, that's also very meduik in the pasuk, and the pasuk says, Ki b'toras Hashem cheftzoi, he has a desire to learn. Desire is much that he didn't learn it yet, he has a desire to learn Torah Hashem. That's like true, before you learn, the Torah does not belong to you yet. It's Torah Hashem. But Kan l'b'soif, however, at the end, meaning is once you've already learned, then becomes Torah Soi, becomes your Torah. Gavorche, it's interesting to point out that the Satmar Rebbe once said, it's interesting when a person has an aliyah to the Sefer Torah, he makes two brachas. There's a bracha l'faneo, and then there's a bracha l'achreo. But if you pay attention, you notice that there's a difference between the last bracha to the first bracha. First bracha, a person says, Avodah, he starts out to say, Birchas Hashem Amvayrach, and so on. Asher b'chabonu mikol amim, v'nosa alonu es toirosoi. That is the first bracha. We make a bracha, the bracha chose us among all the nations, and he gave us his Torah. You notice it doesn't say that the Torah is Torah Semis. It doesn't say anything about Torah Semis. B'chabonu mikol amim, v'nosa alonu es toirosoi. By the bracha achrayna we say, Asher nosa alonu Torah Semis. Why here, by the bracha achrayna is to mention that the Torah that we have is the Torah Semis. But before the kriya, which is by the first bracha, we don't refer to the Torah. We don't give the Torah the title that is Torah Semis. But the second bracha, we mention that the Torah, in fact, is a Torah Semis. So the Rebbe said very beautifully, before you had an aliyah, before you start reading the Torah, whose Torah is it? It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah, as we just learned now in the Gemara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah does not need a haskoma that it's Torah Semis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah is Avodah Zemes. It's Kulei Emes. So before you read the Torah does not belong to you yet. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. If it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah, so the bracha you make before you read the Torah, you make a bracha on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. What's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah? Avodah is Torah Semis. But now that you have the aliyah, and you're a koyre b'Torah, and you're reading the Torah, once you already have read the Torah, now the Torah is your Torah. Your Torah is not so posh, it's not so posh that's Torah Semes. So we make a special bracha, halavai should be zoiche, that the Torah that we're given, that should also be a Torah Semes. Our Torah is not pusha that it's a Torah Semes. Because Baruch Torah about it is. So therefore, davke about the second bracha after the kriya, where the Torah already belongs to us, we make a special bracha that the Torah that we have, that our Torah also should be a Torah Emes, an Emes Torah. In any case, this is how Rashi actually took care explaining the Gemara's teretz regarding the stira. Kan betchila means before you study Torah, it's Kadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. Kan lebesayif, but after you already studied Torah, after learning, it's your Torah. Come the Slach, and the Slach says, I have another pshat. I have another pshat when the Gemara says, Kam betchila kan lebesayif, to answer the stira, whose Torah is it? I have another pshat. The Slach suggests that the pshat of the Gemara here, Masechet Avodah Zarah, actually parallels the Gemara in Birchas Daf Lamed Hey. And we're all familiar with the similar type of a stira that we have. In the Birchas Daf Lamed Hey, the Gemara asks there the following stira. One pasuk says, Lashem ha'aretz u'maloya, which means the entire land and everything in it. Everything belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lashem ha'aretz u'maloya. Everything, the land, the earth, everything that's in it, everything that fills the earth, everything belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's one pasuk. Another pasuk says, Hashamayim, Shamayim Lashem. But the Oretz, not Salivnei Yodom. But the earth, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to us. So it's a stira. So who does the earth belong to? First pasuk says, Lashem ha'aretz umloya. That everything, the entire land, the entire earth, everything belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then at the end, we have another pasuk that says, V'ha'aretz nosan livnei Yodom. So what does the Gemara answer? Kan koidem bracha, kan liyachar bracha. Which means to say is that before a person makes a bracha, you see an apple, and you want to eat the apple. Before you make a bracha, the apple does not belong to you. Not allowed to be in a henna. That apple belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So with the pasuk that said, Lashem ha'aretz umloya, that's before you made a bracha. Before you made a bracha, it belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not entitled to have it. You're not entitled to eat it. Kan liyachar bracha. The other pasuk is talking about after you made a bracha. After a person makes a bracha, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it to him, but matana belongs to him. In other words, the pasuk v'aretz nosan livnei Yodom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you, because it originally belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Originally the land belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lashem ha'aretz umloya. But now that you made the bracha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the aretz that belongs to him, Lashem ha'aretz umloya, but now he gives it to you. So after the bracha now belongs to you, v'aretz nosan livnei Yodom. So what do we see from the Gemara? See in the Gemara that after a person makes a bracha, then it's given to him. So as a slach, going back to the Gemara of Avodah Zarah, the kasha again was that the Gemara, we have a stira. One pasuk says, Ki b'Torah Hashem cheftzoi, that the Torah that a person learns is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. And then the pasuk says, B'Torah soya hege yom v'loila, that person studying his own Torah. Says the Gemara, Kam betchila kan lebesoiv. Says the Slach, Kam betchila. One pasuk is talking, betchila means before you said Birchas HaTorah. Before you said Birchas HaTorah, the Torah does not belong to you. Before you said Birchas HaTorah, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. Ki b'Torah Hashem cheftzoi. Kan lebesoiv. The second pasuk that says b'Torah, it's your Torah, that after you made a bracha, you said Birchas HaTorah. You said Birchas HaTorah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah b'matana. Just like in Masechet Brachas, where it's nosan livnei Yodom. After a person makes a bracha, he makes a priyotz, he makes a priyodoma, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it to him b'matana. So do the Torah itself also. Kan lebesoif. Lebesoif means after you made the bracha, after you said Birchas HaTorah. So after you said Birchas HaTorah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the Torah b'matana. So then it becomes b'Torah soy. Yehet nehege yom v'loila. Slach is Mamshir and says, Oy Bazoy, he says, Adover Nifle. What's Adover Nifle? The Slach says, we know a very fascinating Gemara. The Gemara B'Sat Nadorim Daf Lamed Ches says, it's a half of a fellow, Rabbi Isai. The Gemara says that the great Moshe Rabbeinu, the great Moshe Rabbeinu, B'Tchila hoye Moshe loy metoiro mishakcha. Moshe Rabbeinu himself, when he was learning Torah, he used to forget it. Ad shenitne loy b'matona. Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him the Torah b'matona, So then he was able to learn and to remember. Shenemar Vayichan el Moshe kechaloisa. Vayichan el Moshe. The Torah was given to Moshe ben Matana. Says Slach, what do you see from this Gemara? From this Gemara you see that if a Kodesh Baruch Hu gives the Torah ben Matana, you don't forget. Moshe Rabbeinu used to forget. Ad shenitla ben Matana. Until Kodesh Baruch Hu gave the Torah ben Matana, once Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah ben Matana, he didn't forget anymore. So what do you see? You see if a Kodesh Baruch Hu gives the Torah ben Matana, then you don't forget. Says Islam beautifully, when a person makes Birchas HaTorah, Kodesh Baruch Hu gave you the Torah ben Matana. That's your Torah. Kodesh Baruch Hu gave you the Torah ben Matana. Guess what? If your Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah ben Matana, then you don't forget. That's what we saw from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu used to also forget until Kodesh Baruch Hu gave him the Torah ben Matana. But if a Yid makes Birchas HaTorah, now it becomes his Torah. It means that Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah ben Matana. If Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah ben Matana, then you won't forget. So that's the Givaldik Gizgula. Says the Slach, in order to a person to be able to remember what he learns, not to forget, say Birchas HaTorah b'Kavana. Because when you say Birchas HaTorah b'Kavana, Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah ben Matana. And if Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you the Torah ben Matana, then it's not Shaykh Shikhe as we saw by Moshe Rabbeinu. Therefore, said the Slach, that's why Masechtas Brachos is called Masechtas Brachos. You know why? Masechtas Brachos, you realize, is the first Masechta in Torah Sheba'al Peh. First Masechta in Torah Sheba'al Peh. So when a person starts to learn Torah Sheba'al Peh, so what is the first Masechta? Masechta Brachos. So Rabbeinu HaKodesh wanted to give you an eitzah. You're starting to learn Torah Sheba'al Peh. I want to give an eitzah that you should be able to remember what you're learning, not to forget. I call it Masechtas Brachos Keneged Birchas HaTorah. That's what it's called, Masechtas Brachos. You should not forget to make Birchas HaTorah. Torah Sheba'al Peh is something that's not written down. Something's written down, you're not forgetting it. You just read it. Torah Sheba'al Peh is not written down. So Torah Sheba'al Peh is something, right, that you have to remember. And from being that Brachos is the first Masechta, so take it from Yad in the first Masechta as you start. If you start embarking to learn Torah Sheba'al Peh, Rabbeinu HaKodesh, take him Yad, want to give you a Zgula. I'll give you a Gevaldik Zgula not only to learn, but also to be able to retain and to remember what you are learning. So he called it Masechta Brachos, says the Slach, in order not to forget to say Birchas HaTorah. So we would like to be moisav, just a small thing, to the words of the Slach, and we'd like to say the following. L'chai b'pashtis, the Slach telling us there's a magical formula. All you have to do is say Birchas HaTorah b'Kavana. That's all it goes. That's all you have to do. Just say Birchas HaTorah. I think that the Ashkavas Hadvarim, if a person says Birchas HaTorah, that he's Zeiche, to remember what he learns, the Kavanah of the Slach goes much, much deeper. And it's based upon the following. There's a Gemara in Masechtas Megillah, where the Gemara says in Megillah, Davov. The Gemara says that we all familiar with the beginning of the Gemara, where the Gemara says that if a person says, Lo yogati imotzosi al tamin, a person says, I didn't toil, I did not work, and I was masliach in learning, al tamin, don't believe him. Lo yogati imotzosi al tamin, don't believe him. And if a person says, fakert, if a person says, yogati v'lo imotzosi, also don't believe him. Because if you really put in koyach, you would have put in effort, you would have been masliach. However, yogati imotzosi tamin. A person says, I was miyageya, I toiled in Torah, I was mashkiya myself in Torah, I put in time and effort in koyach and Torah, and I was masliach, then you couldn't believe him. Yogati matzosi, if you put in the time and the effort, you're going to be a masliach. Yogati matzosi tamin. Says the Gemara further, and this is a chelik of the Gemara that very few people remember. Everybody remembers the first part, Yogati matzosi tamin. If a person says he was miyageya and he was masliach, believe him. But the Gemara says, Hanamila said the Gemara lechadude. Yagia helps in order to understand the Havonas Advarim. Yeah. In order to understand Pshat, in order to understand the subject matter, Yagia helps for that. Avol says the Gemara, Lo'oik megirsa siyati dishmaye. Lo'oik megirsa says Rashi, Shlo yishkach. In order not to forget, Yagia doesn't guarantee. But you need siyati dishmaye not to forget, to remember. So Hafla V'Fel, what the Gemara is telling us, that Yogati Mitzotzi, putting in all the koich and all the effort, only works to understand the subject matter, to understand the pshat, to understand the havanas hadvarim. However, like Megirsa, Mishallah Yishkach, not to forget, for that you need Siyata Dishmaya. So then there's a kasha. Why do you need Siyata Dishmaya to remember? Chazer. You have a brayer to Chazer. Review. And Rabbi said, if once is not enough, Chazer 5 times. Chazer 10 times. And what about maybe Mei Pom Vechod, as the Gemara says? Maybe learn it 101 times. Chazer enough and enough times, and you remember. We see that if a person reviews things, right, he remembers. So why does the Gemara insist that Shal Yishkach you have to have Siyata Dishmaya? Why do you have to have Siyata Dishmaya? Says some Sefer Adover Nifle. Some Sefer says, who told you that when you review something that you remember? Some Sefer is, we see it in life. We see it in life, that if a person reviews something many, many times, those of us who went to school might remember that if you were asked to memorize a poem, right, if we reviewed it 10 times, 20 times, we remember. So some Sefer, the teva that's mechayev, when you chazer to remember, that's only remembering dvarim gashmim. Gashmi is the good things. Let's say I want to remember certain addresses. If I review it many, many times, I'll remember. If a person wants to remember many telephone numbers by heart, yeah, review it, chazer it over many, many times, you'll see b'derech hateva, you can remember. Some sefer chazara, that it helps memory, chazara that helps memory, b'derech hateva, is only to remember gashmisdige things. Torah is chokhmas Hashem, it's kulei ruchnius. But the cup for a mensch, the cup of a person is a gashmisdige cup. B'derech hateva, says some sefer, gashmis and ruchnius don't click. They're not homogeneous. They're not compatible. They cannot coincide side by side. So therefore, b'derech hateva, says some sefer, you could chazer 5,000 times, you wouldn't remember. Why? Because Torah is ruchnius, and the mayach is gashmius. So Elamai, how come you do remember when you chazer? It's siyata dishmaya. That's the word. Because Baruch Hu sees that you're chazering. Baruch Hu sees that you're trying so hard, that you want to remember Torah that you are learning. He gives you siyata dishmaya. So you think that it was b'derech hateva. None of the sort. It's not b'derech hateva. It's when you chazer many, many times that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you the siyata dishmaya. If you deserve it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you the siyata dishmaya. But you got him mitzosi. The etzem machmas the teva, the fact that you studied so hard, or even you reviewed so many times b'derech hateva, the Gemara says no. Yagir health nish. Yagir will not help you for that. For that you need siyata dishmaya. Because Torah is chokhmas Hashem, Torah is ruchnius, and the cup is agashmi is the cup. So therefore, Rabbi Sai, we come and we say Birchas HaTorah. You know what Birchas HaTorah is? When the Yehuda says we should say Birchas HaTorah, it's kedai we should understand what the meaning. What are we trying to convey when we say Birchas HaTorah? It's kedai, Rabbi Sai, once in a lifetime to take a look at the words of the Bach. In Archaim and Hilchos Birchas HaShachar. In Seven Menvov, the Bach says over there, when a Yid makes a bracha, because Baruch chose us from all the nations. Because Baruch gave us His Torah. Now, His Torah is kulei ruchnius. So because Baruch gave us His Torah, you know what it means? We ourselves should become spiritual. Birchas HaTorah, the message that Birchas HaTorah is conveying to us, is not enough stam to tari Torah. It's not enough person simply learns Torah. The Nachlas of Nesinas HaTorah is that we ourselves should become a chefetz of a sefer Torah. By learning Torah b'kedusha v'tahara, we become more spiritual. The more spiritual we become, we are connected with Torah. And you have to realize that a Yid Be'emes has a koyach to become a chefetz of a sefer Torah. It might sound something surprising. How can a Yid Abbas of Adam become a chefetz of a sefer Torah? So Rabbi Rabbinim of Pshishche, he pointed out and said, I'll explain to you. It's a davar pashit. So what is a sefer Torah? What's a sefer Torah? You know what a sefer Torah is? You take the skin of a behemoth. Yeah, you take a skin of a behemoth, a lowly behemoth. Take the skin of a behemoth, and you take some ink, and you write on that skin, right? You write words of Torah. All of a sudden, it becomes transformed. B'kedusha sefer Torah. Said the Rabbinim, if Or Behema can become a Sefer Torah, Or Odom cannot become a Sefer Torah? A person cannot become a Sefer Torah. A person, Rabbi Isai, who breathes Torah, who learns Torah, who lives Torah, whose life is Torah, he's less than a Behema? A Behema can become a Sefer Torah? And Or Odom cannot become a Sefer Torah? That, Rabbi said, that's really what the Bach is trying to tell us. That Rabbi gave us Torah Soy, which is a spiritual Torah. His Torah is called a Ruchnis. And He gave it to us. He gave it to us to be compatible. We also have to be a Ruchnis. If we're going to remain Gashmis, that's not compatible. Gashmis and Ruchnis, it won't connect. It won't be a kesher. But the Avodas Hashem is we ourselves should become a chefs of a Sefer Torah. As Kehillah, Rabbi Noach once related that the Netziv of Elozhin was once holding a Sefer Torah in the Beis Medrash, and an accident happened that the Netziv slipped, and everybody's running to pick up the Sefer Torah. And Rabbi Yitzchak of Elozhin was there, and he said, "No, first pick up the Netziv, because he's the living Sefer Torah. The Sefer Torah is Avodah Sefer Torah, but the Netziv is the living Sefer Torah. So first you pick up the living Sefer Torah, then you pick up the other Sefer Torah." That is the inyan of Birchas HaTorah, telling us that a person should himself become a chefs of Torah. If you yourself become a chefs of Torah, then you're not trying to forget Torah, because you yourself are shtik Torah. Through Torah you become transformed. You become a ruchnig piece of Torah. You become a chefs of a Sefer Torah. So what the stach meant when you say Birchas HaTorah means, take the lesson of Birchas HaTorah and become transformed. Take the message of Birchas HaTorah, say Birchas HaTorah b'kavona, meaning understand. Try to understand what Birchas HaTorah is trying to convey. And if you say b'kavona, and you understand that the purpose is, the person of the Sinas HaTorah wish, and is satzim, that we ourselves should become a chefs of the Sefer Torah, then avad avad b'zoichet d'siyata d'shmaya, shlo yishkach. For whom better will HaKadosh Baruch Hu give Torah, if not for somebody who himself is a Sefer Torah? That's what tzlach meant. To say Birchas HaTorah, and that'll be is gula, not to forget. Meaning to say is that through Torah you become transformed, and you become a chefs of a Sefer Torah. Mamela, a chefs of a Sefer Torah who learns Torah, he himself is a shtik Torah. Zavada, that's a gavaldig gula, kai gavne. But you should not forget. You should be zoiche, to be mekal the Torah, metoch siyata d'shmaya, metoch simchas HaTorah. We should be zoiche to fulfill the kavana of Nesinas HaTorah as the Bach taught us. Shenesatzem atzmeinu b'kedushas HaTorah, as Hashem will be zoiche the kol ha-brachos or amuras b'Torah, as we say in the Hadron of a Masechta, or Echiyama b'yamina, arichas yamim on the right side, b'smoila oish v'kovod, b'sasimcha v'nachas, abiyas ha'goyel b'mher v'menu, amen.